Welcome to Monologue Mondays. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for your patience. We had a little technical difficulties. We don't know what was happening, but we're here. But we're here now, so I'm glad you all are here with me. Welcome back to Monologue Mondays. Happy New Year to the ones who I haven't said Happy New Year to. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have you all here. Please, everybody, this is a great time to be a part of what we got going on as far as Monologue Mondays. So if you ever want to just support us, do so. All those things are going to be on the screen shortly. But yeah, so just join us and lock in with us. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that I get to be here with you all. And I'm gonna say this really quick, and then I'll get into what we're talking about. Um, I genuinely, like most actors and filmmakers and directors and producers and stage hands and the list goes on and on and on. I genuinely love what I do as far as acting on every level, from stage to indie to some mainstream things, some commercials, auditioning, self-tape, in person, the whole thing, obviously booking and making these projects. I just want us to just take it a little bit more serious now. Lately, and this I might have jumped out here too soon, but lately, with this, what I'm about to say, lately, I'm seeing a lot of people complain about the way deals are being made and how the distribution working with certain platforms is not making enough money, and or they're basically, and I'm speaking strictly, I was gonna say strictly to the indie, but things are being changed across the board, because even when things get oversaturated, let's start here. When things get oversaturated and you help build something, you gotta understand the risk. Like, you don't matter to that particular thing you help build anymore. For example, TikTok stream and streamers and stuff like that. We'll deal with TikTok. So influencers, right? TikTok used to get like $2 for every whatchamajigget. But now they've cut that down to literally cents. You don't get $2 every, every million views. You probably make $30 now on TikTok because it's oversaturated, right? Everybody's doing the same things and so doing the same routines and the same viral dances and the same viral videos. Everybody's doing the same content. So now they start saying, okay, we got to get you out the way. Thank you for helping building what we built, but now we're gonna go another route. As you can see, podcasting is getting really big now, right? I even heard, and on the Golden Globes, which we're going to talk about today, that when Snoop Dogg was giving out the award for the thing, he was like, y'all better be careful. Y'all better hope I don't get in this game. That's literally what Snoop Dogg said. And then he said, I'm in this game already. A podcast. And, they gave out a podcast. I think Amy Poehler won for the best podcast. And I'm so, like, things are changing. That's why, you have your Netflixes buying out major production companies and studios, and now they're bringing in, certain things, but they're doing that. So on the indie level, we had to see this coming. Ugh, I ain't gonna have no friends when I get done with this stuff. We had to see this coming, y'all. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be compensated, because you should be. I'm in the same industry you're in. When I say you, I mean all of us. But you had to see this coming. At some point, we was going to build something, they was going to kick us out on the indie level, or try to kick us out, or at least slow walk us out the door. Say, thank you for coming. It's our job. That's why I was saying in the beginning, like, let's learn everything from the business, not just how to operate the camera, not just how to be a great actor or a great director. Learn everything so we won't get kicked out. Because now if we get kicked out sooner than we want, we're going to go try to find the next thing and build that. And that's going to be cool. But guess what? It's going to be the same. This is nothing new. And as much as it sucks, you got to see this coming. So that's why I say in the beginning, let's give them quality across the board. That way, bigger people, bigger productions, they'll pay attention to us. They want to invest in us. They want to work with us. They want our content, and we can set a dollar price, and they got to pay that for us. That's just my little 2 cents. I'm going to move along. I'm gonna move along. So while we still got a little bit of a foot in the door, let's do something great, and don't just put it on one platform, put it on all platforms and support everybody's everything. And let's do quality now, because the day of just quantity is out the door. They don't care about how many times we tell the same story with the same way, the same everything. Like, let's switch it up and give them more. I hope y'all like me for that. I hope y'all still love me for that. I hope y'all still follow me for that. If y'all don't, I'm sure I'll be fine, but I just hope you do follow me. Okay, moving on. Now that I got your attention, and I hope y'all sharing this live. Everybody know we're live on Monologue Mondays. Let's go into it. Monologue Mondays today, man. We're talking about from the self-tape to the spotlight. Because watching the Golden Globes yesterday, every time I watch these acting award shows, even if the award show doesn't go as planned, I still get inspired. Like I get super inspired about like what's going on the show and like, oh, okay, this is what I'm working for. These are the goals that I'm going to reach and things like that. So I watch them, even if I don't know every movie, if I don't know who's in every category, I watch them every single time. So it's really fun to watch. So I enjoy it like crazy. So I enjoy it. So we're going to talk about it a little bit. So last night, the Golden Globes, it reminded me of why I do what I do. Basically what I just said. It's not about the trophies though. It's not just about the trophies, and it's not just about getting dressed up in the red carpet. It's about the moments. It's the moments that your name gets called, right? You know, I've had been on a few award shows in 2025, and I'm grateful for the ones that I attended, the ones I got nominated for, and especially for the ones that I won. Like I'm super grateful. It is a different vibe. It is a different feeling when somebody recognizes you for what you do. It's like, this is what the dream is about. It's a big part of the dream. I'm not gonna say that's what it's all about, but it just means that, especially if it's something like the SAG Awards or, you know what I'm saying, that because that's the Screen Actors Guild, that's your peers voting and saying, hey, I may not know you personally, but I love your work. Or I may know you personally and I love your work. You know, so that's what it's really about. So when your name gets called and you stand up, everybody's loving you. I had that moment and it was a really good moment. But it also says like, it says I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going after my passion. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But let's just be real, though. Going to the Golden Globes, the truth about the Golden Globes is actors don't win. Actors don't win because they're just lucky. Yeah? Here we go. They don't win because they're lucky. They put in 10 to 20 years of effort, of showing up and doing all the dirty work that it takes to win. And my thing is, when are we as a whole and as a community are going to step up and start doing that? We want these accolades. And maybe you're saying, I don't want the award. Because I even heard Samuel Jackson say this, and I want to say this so y'all don't think I'm just saying this is the only thing you're going for. Because like I've said before, I think I said it when Joe was on, Hollywood is not a place, it's a standard. And if I haven't said it, I'm saying it now. Hollywood is not a place, it's a standard. You can make a film anywhere in the world now, especially now, anywhere in the world. And they're building studios all over the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's a standard now. And Samuel Jackson was saying this. He was saying how he didn't really care about the awards because, Samuel Jackson currently has a really great career. And he makes plenty of money, and he gets to do the movies that he wants to do now. But he's a great actor. Let's just call it is. But that's where I'm getting to. They're not lucky to be mentioned. You don't get to talk about a Sam Jackson in that light and him doing all that work without understanding that man puts in work. And if you don't know Sam Jackson puts in work, go look up Sam and everything that he does, even from his master class, but everything that he does. Like Sam been putting in work for a long time. It started in theater and everything. So go check out Sam. But it's about putting in the work. So you don't get it because you're lucky. They win because they put 20 years in. Every winner that you've ever seen, especially the ones who won last night, I get it. I wanted Michael B. Jordan to take home Best Actor too. I did too, okay? But it didn't happen that way. It went the way it was supposed to go. So, but every actor that you see did thousands of auditions. I want y'all to hear me. Every actor that you've seen win last night and that you've seen win in the past and who you're going to see, because we still got, Oscars and all this stuff to look forward to. Every last one of them put in thousands of auditions. They got told no. They got told more times than they ever heard of yes. And since they've been acting, and was invisible before they became iconic. Every single actor. Think about this now. Because sometimes I know, especially depending on where you're at and how long you've been doing it and your age. And let me say this something about age. This business doesn't matter how old you are. young or old, and I want y'all to hear me. If you're young, I can't remember the actor's name that won, and he's the youngest actor to win in that category, but it was from the show on Netflix called Adolescence. This young man won, and he's young. He's young to the point to where when he was talking, he was like, this is crazy. This is, it was like, I can't formulate the word. It was crazy. So it doesn't matter how young you are. And if you're older, if you're 30 plus, you're not done. Just because you had goals and dreams, I wanted to hit this at a certain age and da-da-da, it hasn't happened that way. The first time that I was on national TV, it was not at the age that I thought. I thought I was like, man, I said I was going to do it by this age, and here it is, 10 years past that age. It didn't matter, though, because when I booked it, I was like, yes, I didn't care about my age. You get what I'm saying? So don't think that if you're 30 plus, and especially if you're 30 plus and you're going into your 40s, late 30s, going into your 40s, you know what? They don't see, oh, you're old. Not in 2026. They say, oh, you're established. You're seasoned. You know how to carry yourself on set. You're mature. You know how to control yourself. You're more in tune with yourself at this, well, we should be. More in tune with yourself at these ages. So don't think you're too old. We talked about it. There's plenty of actors and actresses that have been doing it. And I always go to Pedro Pascal because he thought he was done at 38. Until he booked Game of Thrones. And then he booked Game of Thrones, and then the rest is history. He's been working ever since, which we know lately the biggest thing he is on Fantastic Four, playing Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. So don't ever think, please, that should never be an excuse. I know that people make it an excuse, but it's never an excuse. Your age does not matter. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. But yeah, so don't think you're too old. They didn't become these great people that we see on TV and all these wonderful things because they were just lucky and all that stuff. They became this great group of people because they put in the work and they never gave up, which we're going to talk about that just now. So I'm going to give you these 5 tips and we're going to break it up, in our first segment. Who's still here? Who's still here? Okay, let's talk about this. I'm going to read my notes and I'm going to give it to you. You have to outlast most people. Here we go. This is what we're talking about. Most actors don't fail. They just quit. Most actors do not fail. They quit. I talked with an actor not too long ago. I think it was way earlier last year. So don't y'all try to figure out which one of my acting buddies I'm talking about. Way earlier last year, and they were talking about quitting. They were talking about really giving up. And I was telling them no, you can't give up. They said, man, you don't understand. It's a struggle. It's hard. Been doing this, doing that. Things ain't adding up. Money ain't making sense. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I said, okay, I get that. Because if you're an actor and you really love this, you're going to have these moments. That's just everybody. I don't care if you're even a son or a child, daughter of an actor or actress, and then they put you in the business. You're still going to have these moments. Or you had really great success. And, you know what I'm saying? You're still going to have these moments. But I was telling them, I said, well, you just adjust. Do what you got to do. Maybe you got to pick up another gig here and work here and do this, whatever. But don't quit. Everything should still lead towards what you're doing. And gratefully, they didn't quit, and they're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good now. But I'm saying that to say, most people are gonna quit. Most people are gonna quit. So knowing that, I automatically tell myself, I'll be like, all right, when I have these moments, this is what I say to myself in any situation, be it working out, finding ways to make more money and things like that. I always tell myself this. When it gets hard, I say, these are the moments that people normally quit. This is right here. When the doubt sets in and the fear sets in or the regret sets in, or maybe I should quit. All that. I said, these are the moments where people normally quit. And I push myself past those moments. You're going to have to do it. And normally when I do that, I walk into something good. I walk into something better. Maybe it's not a role, but it may be a new opportunity to meet somebody. It may be a new opportunity to now what I'm really going into now, which somebody had to help me with. And her name's Ayana. She helped me with this. And I was saying, I really don't want to teach because I feel like once you start teaching acting, your career is over. That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? Once you start teaching acting, you're on that side of the acting now. And then she gave this perfect example about a person that started off writing books, and they were just writing books. And it's a real life person writing books. And then that person turned their book into plays. And then after doing plays for years, and plays turned it, okay, I'm going to start doing movies. And doing movies with little or no money, but just really pushing their movies. And then those movies turn into that person building their own studio and a movie studio. And they're doing great. They're a millionaire. To this day, they're a millionaire. Only reason I'm not saying their name because I don't have rights and I ain't got time for y'all to be trying to do all that stuff. But when she told me that, she said, so why can't you teach acting? You don't know who you'll be teaching. You don't know who the next somebody is, and they love the way you teach or love the way you act, or you never know. And I've always said this, I'm going to give this example to why you can't look at something and be like, oh, this is insignificant or whatever. When I used to do physical training, I do personal training, and then we would do hip hop aerobic step classes, and I would bounce between doing the step classes and I would do personal training. It was this guy. At the time, I didn't have a car. It was this guy there, and he would always come in. I would train him. Whenever my business partner Shane couldn't train him, I would train him. So I would train him. Always gave him like full attention. Gave him the best workouts ever, in his opinion. And so, I was just being attentive. And one day he sat me down and he said, "Hey man, you always helping people. I see you give your all, right? Not very unassuming guy." And he said, "What do you need?" And I was like, nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't need nothing. And he was like, no, tell me what you need. Tell me what you need. And I said, I'm trying to get a car. But at the time, my credit was shot, this, that, and the third. And then he looked at me, he said, because you're always helping people, he said, I'm going to help you. And what he did was, which a lot of people don't know you can do, is he let me adopt his credit. What? Y'all ain't know that, did y'all? A lot of y'all don't know that. You can adopt somebody's credit and it shoots your credit score up. Doesn't affect their credit score. So why don't you start treating mama right and daddy and them and jump on their they don't teach you this. Yeah, credit is king. So so he let me adopt this credit score, which allowed me to get the BMW that I drive today. And so I'm saying all that to say, what if I looked at him like, I don't want to train this guy. He's not my client. He's my partner's client. I want to focus on this, but I gave him the full attention I gave everybody else, and he helped me. Same thing in your acting career. Same way I've started approaching things that I do. Don't look at everybody like, oh, I don't want to work with this little director. I don't want this small-time actor. I don't want this small-time opportunity to teach a class. Well, I'm going to teach a class where I'm a star. No. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to be the person that's going to mention your name in rooms that you're not in. You don't know. So don't, the Bible tells us that. Don't despise small beginnings. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. Because I don't want to, here we go. So the Golden Globes winners are just the ones who stayed when it got hard, when it got boring. People don't talk about this. When it got boring, when it got lonely, and expensive. Acting gets expensive. Because what people don't tell you is, even when you got a manager and an agent, even if you have these things, sometimes you got to pay for your own flight. Sometimes you got to pay for your own lounging until you become a big name actor or until you get to a point to where you can negotiate things. Your manager, your agent can negotiate things for you. They won't tell you this. They'll just say, I'm getting flued out. Yeah, but they bought that ticket on Spirit Airlines. You know what I'm saying? Which is nothing wrong with. Do what you got to do. Do whatever you got to do. You get what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to tell you I got flued out. That's all they're going to tell you. They're not going to tell you that they're going to go do this thing and they all got together and they said, okay, we all got to put in for the Airbnb. They're not going to tell you that. You get what I'm saying? Like they're not going to always tell you that. Don't get me wrong. There are times where people are getting flued out. They're actually getting flued out and they actually are getting put up. It happens. Trust me. It happens. But I'm saying they're not going to tell you all that. So it gets expensive sometimes. So I'm going to say that first. The expense alone will make people quit sometimes. Don't you quit. Figure it out. Work another job. Do an acting class. Write a book. I wrote a book, How to Win the Room by Marcus Woods. Buy the book. It's only $7. It's on all my social media pages. Go do that. But do whatever you got to do. Cut hair, cut grass, get a garbage route, do something. Like do something. Don't just sit back and wait. Do something. Boring. It gets when you're doing it right, it gets boring. When you want to go to different levels and different heights, you want to go to we're talking about from the self-tape to the spotlight, and we just mentioned the Golden Globes because that's what just happened yesterday. So do what you got to do. It's going to get boring. Yes, going to classes gets boring. Rehearsing and learning your lines and all these things, it gets boring. Audition after audition after audition after audition does get boring. You do end up like, I'm just be real with you. Sometimes you be like, I don't feel like doing this audition. for this thing again or for this company again. They never book me. I'm tired of it. When am I going to get more interesting roles? When am I going to get, it all gets boring, but you got to figure out how to bring that joy back to what you have. Keep that fire going. This is how I do it. I'll go to a movie. I'll even go audition to keep that, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to go on this local audition to see what's up. Because just to keep the fire. If I book, I book. If I don't, it's just to keep the fire going. I read books. I watch videos. I watch my favorite movie. I go to the movies, and sometimes I go by myself so I can watch it and enjoy it, like for real, and enjoy it the way I watch it. Because I was talking to my, I think it was my brothers yesterday, and they was like, well, how was this, whatever movie we was watching? No, we were watching a movie called Becky on Netflix. That's what we were watching. And we watching the movie, and it's a really good movie. I got Kevin James in it, who plays a bad guy. If you know Kevin James, he really was remembered from Hitch. You know, he played a Hitch with Will Smith. So Kevin James, he was a bad guy in this one. And he was really good. It was really good. And I'm just looking at it. We watching, me and my brothers watching, and I'm like, look at the shot. They're like, what? I'm like, I'm sorry. I was watching it from a whole different thing. But so sometimes I go to the movies and I watch it by myself so I can really like watch it how I need to see it from my perspective. But whatever you got to do to make it exciting again, to get that fire going again, do that for yourself. You don't need to be special. You need to still be here is what I'm getting at. Everybody's going to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. There are people that gave me advice along the way and they are no longer acting. They quit. They didn't even use the advice they gave me. I saw a colleague, I would say, of mine. I went to a museum, and they were at that museum, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on? What you doing here?" You know, and they was like, "Man, I work here." I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's what's up." You know, don't ever look down on nobody for working in this industry if they're not doing film work. They're trying to survive while making their dreams come true. And I was like, so what's going on? You still doing this? You still doing that? He's like, nah, I'm about to go ahead and sell all my equipment and I'm out of here. I'm done with it. And just try to make the, and I'm telling you now, I don't care how sad you are. And when I say I don't care, I mean it in the right context. I don't care how depressed you are. I don't care how low you are. You run into me, I'm going to pump life into you and your dreams. I will not, one or two things going to happen. You're going to feel fired up, or you're going to be like, you too positive for me, brother. Let me go and get out your way. Because I'm big on not quitting. Because if you quit, you'll never know. And that regret is heavy. And I just started boom, boom. When I got done talking to that brother was like, yeah, man, I'm finna go shoot a short or something. I was like, yeah, man, don't sell that camera, go shoot the short. You know what I mean? And so it was just fired up. But I'm saying that to say they're going to quit. You know what I'm saying? Or they're going to want to quit, and most are going to quit. And they're not going to tell you. You're probably just going to see them a few years later and saying, I just quit. I couldn't do it. And don't let frustration of where you are in the industry or what's going on within the industry make you quit. I get frustrated just like anybody else, y'all. And this stuff is not even in my nose. This is just me now. I get frustrated just like everybody else. I wonder, because let me just be real with y'all, especially when it's lonely. When you start doing this stuff, everybody is the first thing, you're not going to have a lot of people rooting for you. And then when you get to doing it, then some people are going to root for you, but then they're only going to compare you to who's doing what on a bigger level, right? You need to, I seen a post, this is so funny to me, like as soon as people that really do love you, and they know you're doing this acting thing, especially just black people, they'll be like, you need to reach out to Tyler Perry. Because if you're really doing it, I'm talking about everybody I know. You need to reach out to Tyler Perry because you're doing it. And it's so funny to me. Like, you know, Tyler Perry ain't the only like black filmmaker and producer in the world. Like, you know what I mean? It's other people. But that's what they'll tell you. Like, you know, and they'll tell you that. And then they'll be like, well, you know, you ain't really doing it because Tyler Perry, he doing it. You know, you ain't your little acting thing, right? So you get that. And then you get to a point to where you're really making strides and people seeing you ain't playing. But at the same time, the people that was going with you, sometimes they may fall off. You know, first they may see the dream, but then they may fall off. For whatever reason, life can happen. Relationships end, friendships change, and they don't believe in you no more. And so then they think you're wasting your time. Then that's when it gets lonely because you thought this was your village. You thought these were your people that was going to root for you. And that's when you got to ask yourself, who and what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? Where did this come from? The best way to know that you're doing something that you're supposed to do, quit it. I think I mentioned this on here before. I quit acting when I started losing myself in it. And what do I mean by that? I remember going to this play I was doing, and when I did the play, I remember seeing all the actors and stuff. There was a lot of bickering going on between production and actors and stuff like that. And I remember just sitting there thinking, this is stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, this is dumb. This is not what I got on here for. And I just remember thinking, like, I'm so sick of doing this stuff. Like, I told myself, I said, after I do this production, I'm taking a year off. I can't. Because I said, it's not going anywhere. And I remember I took that year off. And I'm going to say I ended up taking about 8 months off. But I took that year off, and I was getting calls. People was calling me to be in their productions and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I'm taking some time to myself. Really wasn't. I was really just quitting, but I didn't want to call it quitting. And glorified, there it is, glorified quitting. And I remember saying, yeah, I'm done with it. And I remember going to sleep and waking up for about a week just dreaming about acting. I would dream about being on TV with stars and dreaming about it. I'm like, dang, this thing won't leave me alone. And that's when I knew. I said, this happened for about a week straight, and within that 8 months of me quitting. And I said, I'm supposed to act. I know I'm supposed to act. I did everything. I said, I'm about to do this. I'm about to go to school for this, massage therapy. All this stuff came to my mind. And I was just like, and there's nothing wrong with those things if you're doing it. I'm just saying for me, and I was just like, nah, that ain't me. My heart, I make money, but my heart won't be in it. You get what I'm saying? My heart won't be in it. And so I pushed past that. I'm so glad, because that was years ago. If I wouldn't have done that, then that was like way before my booking on TV and all that stuff. So I was just like, man, if I'd have quit back then, I wouldn't be sitting here on a podcast talking to y'all. You get what I'm saying? I would have quit. And so that's why I be saying, like, yeah, you're going to feel like quitting, but don't quit. You're going to get low. People are going to go with you. And I want to be real with y'all. Even relationships change. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And you got to understand, you got to make sure that your purpose in this is not tied to people. Because when people leave, don't let them take your fire and your purpose and your passion with them. Because it'll happen. Because what you'll do is, okay, y'all not, I'm going to have to tell y'all me. What I did is I tied my passion in with the person. So when I am talking relationships, and you tie them in, and you saying, okay, they're gonna be at this big major event with me, and they're gonna be at this with me, and they're gonna be, because you see it, and my parents are gonna be there, and and you see all this stuff, and they're gonna be at this award. I'm gonna be like, thank you for sticking with me. It's so dumb. Like you look back and stuff, but it's real, right? And then they're not there because they leave, because life happens, things happen, but now you're like, oh, my fire went with them. You don't know it yet, but I don't want to do this anymore, because you made them a part of your why, right? Your why has to be stronger than just people, because something my dad was on here, he's a pastor. And one thing his former pastor, before he passed away, God rest his soul, told my dad he said, people change. And that's just true. People change. So if you tie your purpose to people, you tie your acting career to people, they're going to change. Now, if you get blessed and people ride with you all the way through, great. But understand, people change. So your why has to be stronger than a person. You got to figure out what's going on in here and in here, why you doing what you're doing. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I'm going to keep moving. Say, I don't think I'm on here being too preachy. Okay. Do I got comments? Not yet? Okay, we'll wait. We'll keep moving. All right, so let's keep going. Number 2, and I promise y'all we're not going to be on here much longer. Number 2, you must become emotionally dangerous. What do I mean by this? I'll tell you. The actors on that stage at the Golden Globes did not play it safe. They didn't play. They were brave enough to be ugly, broken, confident, and raw. Awards don't go to safe performances. They go to truthful performances. Awards don't go to safe performance, they go to truthful ones. I'm going to give you, he didn't win an award last night, but he's an award-winning actor, Hugh Jackman. And if you don't know who Hugh Jackman is, you might be under a rock. He played Wolverine in Deadpool, but he's done 1,000 different movies. He's an amazing actor. Hugh Jackman did a movie called Prisoners. Terrence Howard was in it. I'm missing some people, but I'm talking about them because they were in this particular scene where his child went missing in this movie. It's called Prisoners. His child went missing. And he went and found the guy who he believed was the abductor of his child. And so he built a little room and locked him up in there. Excuse me. And then in the scene, Terrence Howard is on one side of the guy. The guy's in the middle, then you have Hugh Jackman. And the guy's all beat up and bloody. He's been beaten up. He's been asking him, where's my daughter? I'm going to torture you until you tell me where my daughter is. He takes a hammer. He says, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? And he starts breaking the bathroom. They're in the bathroom. He starts breaking the bathroom sink, and he's tearing it up. And then there's a particular time where he really, like, you can feel him. He says, where's my daughter? And he takes a hammer, and he hammers it into the wall right next to the actor. The actor he jumps, and he slides down the wall. Now, this is what I mean by being emotionally dangerous and raw and unfiltered in your acting and not being afraid, not playing it safe. The hammering of the sink was in the script. He messed up the wall because he was so into it. He was not supposed to hit the wall. So when the actor jumped, it was a genuine, like, oh, he was about to hit me with this hammer, and he slid down the wall. But what I'm saying was he was able to play honestly and truthfully a dad who's looking for his daughter. And this, don't get me wrong, you lose a child, parents get fired up. But when a man can't protect his daughter, it's a different type of thing. And so he did it so raw. He was able to be just open. You want to get to those award shows. You want to get to those bigger spotlights. You want to get to those bigger productions and those bigger auditions and bookings. You got to not be afraid to be truthful, be vulnerable. It's something that I talked about in my pop-up acting class about being vulnerable. The more vulnerable you get, stop worrying about, I think it was, who did I have on here and she was saying it? I can't remember who it was, but she was saying how you become a better actor when you stop worrying about how you look. It was, and it's so true. Like your ugly cries, the looking like you're weak, and like just be truthful. Give us a truthful performance. I'm talking to you actors. Be truthful. Give a truthful performance. Okay. Number 3. Let me see. I'm moving fast without giving y'all the titles of the categories, but it's okay. We're just gonna keep going. Number 3. Your training has to become relentless. It has to be relentless. And I'm going to tell you why. Those winners, that they didn't wake up and say, woo, I'm gifted. I'm going to the world. What they said was they trained until they were undeniable. You walk in rooms, you have to walk into rooms in such a way to where you don't have to introduce yourself no more, right? We want to walk in, you want people to be like, there go Marcus Woods. There goes such and such. There goes such and such. There goes such. Like you want to walk in that way. You want to walk in and be able, because you do the work and you're so great at what you do that you change the entire room. They already know who you are. They know the level of acting or the level of talent and the level of discipline and training that you already have. Stop letting people tell you that training don't matter. Stop letting people tell you that you can just go get training anywhere. Go get proper training with people who are going to actually give you stuff that you can use and that you can leave out with feeling like you actually learned something. Side note, February 3rd, Tuesday, I have partnered with the Actors Loft to do an acting class starting. It's every Tuesday starting in February. It starts February 3rd. And if you want to be a part of that acting class, DM me or messenger me now. Send me your email, and then I'll email you all of the information that's going on with that. You want to jump on this right away. It's an 8-week program, and I got something special planned for that last week of the program to where you're going to get to meet some pretty important people. I'm going to put it to you like that. So if you really want to be a part of it and you're not afraid to invest in yourself, let me know. Hit me up. And it's amazing. You really have until February. Well, you actually have until the end of this month to get the $50 off. And I'm just going to be honest with you. It costs, I don't like hiding prices. It's a $400 class. And I'm going to tell you why. I've given $50, $65, $20 virtual training. I've done that already. And I still have those, but this right here is I'm putting something else in. You get $50 knocked off if you join it. If you don't feel like that's too much, that's too much. I'm not investing in that. I understand this is not for you. I get it. But if this is for you and you believe in yourself and you want to walk out with something and really push your career to the next level, come join me there. Ask anybody that's been in my classes. I don't play. I give you more than that. $400 or $350 if you get in right away is nothing. It's nothing to what can be offered. Okay, keep moving. So I'll help you with that training. We're going to keep moving. Classes, coaches, and reps. Here we go. Classes, coaches, and reps. The camera exposes everything. Training gives you the control that you need to tell the truth. You have to train. Stop selling. Stop. Peaches, I get so upset because people will get in my inbox and they'll ask me these questions, and I tell them what to do. Have you taken classes? Have you done this, all this stuff, right? And then they'll be like, "But I'm in 2 movies." "Oh, you are?" "Yeah, I'm on such and such platform." "Yeah, you are?" "Yeah, you go watch the movie to go see." And they in the background playing the bartender. No lines. They just smile one time, like, "There you go." That's it. And they put that "there you go" in themselves. They weren't even supposed to say that. "There you go." Like, like, stop playing with me. Because, like, if you want my help, then do what I say. And I've given out so much free help, it's ridiculous. And still do. But, it's just take the classes. Take the classes. Get you a coach, even if it's not Marcus Woods. And understand, just because you took one class 3 years ago doesn't qualify you as saying that you should still be taking classes. I get it. They're costly. Things happen. Things change. But okay. But when you can get in a class, get in a class. You know what I mean? You got to. It's LeBron James. You're right. Peaches just said this. I can't even take credit for it. LeBron James, who looked like he may be on his last year of the NBA. He might push another year. We don't know. Who's won rings, all kind of titles. He's been in all kind of All-Stars and played in the Olympics. And he's playing right now at the age of 40. And he still trains. Hear what we're saying now. LeBron James, who you watch play on the Lakers, right now with Luka Doncic and all these other people, he still trains because he said, "I'm still playing." I'm pretty sure until he quits playing, he probably won't stop working out, but he won't train as hard because he ain't got to show up every night. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset. Since I got to show up every night, I still have to train and be ready to show up and play. You want to be with the greats? Get in a class and stay learning, stay going. Okay, number 4, we almost done. You have to learn the business. I was just sharing this with Peaches earlier. You have to learn the business. I'm going to read this to you, and I'm going to tell you what I said. Every Golden Globe winner has representation. Hear me. Every Golden Globe winner, Oscar winner, SAG award winner, all these people have representation, a strategy, a brand, and a long-term plan. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Stop getting on here and saying, "Oh, I'm an actor and all I want to do is this." Now, if that's your goal, that's your goal. And is it an obtainable goal? Yeah. But you know what I mean? Just to be known around the way, that's not it for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just be known by Pookie, Ray Ray, and them, and a couple others. I want to go to the top. It's not a hobby for me. So you want to go, you have a long-term plan. What is your long-term goal? You don't want to just keep showing up and saying, "Oh yeah, we'll get them to do it," because they'll do that one thing every time for us for a few dollars. No, I want to go to the top. So I will go to the top. I got to watch my words. I speak for myself. I will go to the top, and you can too. Representation. Get you an agent and a manager. You want to be in films on that level, especially after I just told you at the top of this program that things are changing in the indie world, so it's not going to be as easy to get back on certain indie platforms like it used to be. You want to go next level, even in the indie world, because there's levels to indie. Get you some representation. Get you an agent. Get you a manager when you're ready. Get these things when you're ready. But that's how you get in there. You don't get to audition for a Nike commercial just by saying, "My friend told me about it." It don't work like that. You need representation. You need somebody to walk in that room and know how to talk until you learn the lingo yourself, until you're at the level of a Kevin Hart or somebody where you won't necessarily need them no more. But even they have managers and agents, believe it or not. They just, managers and agents, they do the back office work. So Kevin Hart, he stays out in the front and does things like that. But I'm just saying, you have to get representation. You need a strategy. What's your goal? How are you going to reach these goals? How many times are you going to reach? How's it going to take you to reach these goals? And then when you reach that, what's the next thing? You got to have a strategy, and you have to make yourself a brand. Brand yourself. You got to learn this business. And I'm going to tell you who just said it since I brought up Kevin Hart. I was watching something on another podcast with Mike Epps on it. I can say it. Shannon Sharp's show. And he was on there talking to Shannon Sharp, and he asked Mike Epps, he was asking about his career. And he was saying he said, me and Kevin Hart, I was ahead of Kevin Hart. He was behind me. And he wasn't saying it with no disrespect. He was like, he was behind me. Because, I know that him and Kevin Hart had a beef, but they fixed it up. And he said he was behind me. And he said, and I was out here doing shows. He said, but then Kevin Hart came, he started doing shows too, but he said he started understanding show business. He said, I was just looking at it as like, I'm just doing the show. But Kevin Hart, show business. He said, I'm gonna do the shows, but then I'm gonna understand the business. I'm gonna market myself. I'm gonna become a brand. People are gonna buy my merch. People are gonna buy this. I'm gonna create this. He understood the business side of things. This is show business, y'all. You gotta understand the business. Understand so they won't cheat you out your money. You won't have your image and your likeness out here, or you won't just be the talent. You want to know everything about it. Understand the business. Talent gets you noticed. Strategy gets you booked. Talent gets you noticed. Strategy gets you booked. Remember that. Number 5, here we go. You must treat acting like a career. Like a career, not even a job, like a career. I'm going to tell you why. It's not a hobby. It's not a dream. It's not, I'll see what happens. You ever hear that in a relationship? We'll see what happens. You like, ain't no security in this at all. See what happens. You might like me today, hate me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I might be the finest thing in the world today, and then I'm not so fine anymore. No, I don't want to see what happens. I need to know what's going on. I could like acting today, but shoot, I hate these long hours on set. No, you can't do that. You can't see what happens. You got to know what's going on. So it's not a hobby, and it's more than a dream. I'm not going to say it's not a dream, but it's more than a dream. You show up like a professional, or you stay invisible. You hear that? You show up like a professional, you stay invisible. So if you really want to be in this, you got to be professional. You got to learn etiquette. You got to learn what it takes to get to certain levels, especially if we talking levels of Golden Globes. Now I hear some of y'all, because I know the market that I'm in, well, one of the markets that I'm in currently. Well, ain't what I want. And we ain't trying to be like Hollywood. We don't need them awards. We don't need that. Didn't y'all hear me tell y'all earlier, Hollywood is not a place, it's a standard? At some point, you should want quality. At some point, even if it ain't about winning a trophy, because I said that too. I said it's not about the trophy. It's about what really what is it about to you? I want y'all to answer that question. When the people that's gonna watch this later, people watching this now, what are you doing this for? Really break that down. Because we intentional about everything else that we do. Let's be intentional. Why are you here? What do you want? Are you just doing this because your mama said you kind of funny? Are you just doing this because that my baby a good actress? Are you doing this because you love it? It's gonna separate you from the who's and the who's ain't. it's gonna separate you. So figure out what you're doing this for, but be a professional. Be a professional. Okay, I want to say this last thing to y'all, and then before I say this last thing to y'all, I mentioned my book earlier, and I really want y'all to get that book. It's not just because it's my book. It's because it really helps with confidence and the audition process. A lot of people tell y'all what to do after you get the role. I'm trying to encourage you and build you up before you even walk into the room, because you got to know what to do to win, and it helps talk about confidence. But I really built my confidence by trying things and learning things that worked, things that didn't work, things that got me booked in certain movies. Matter of fact, in certain movies where I didn't know if I was going to get the part or not. I auditioned for this movie called Broken Bonds. It was between me and another actor that I knew. And I didn't know, I was like, man, they're a good actor. I didn't know if I was going to get it. But then I changed the way I did my self-tape. Before I did it, I just started saying these things that I wrote in this book about how I can build this confidence and how I can and do this role and all this stuff. All this stuff is in the book. Get the book. It's only $7. And it helped me to book this role in this movie called Broken Bonds. And if you haven't noticed, Broken Bonds is out now on Tubi. and with Broken Bonds being out now, it's a really good film. It's a really good film. I've been getting calls from everywhere, from Detroit to Alabama to Texas to Ohio, even some family members out in L.A. and friends out in L.A. that watched the movie and tell me how good the movie was and how good my performance was. I want y'all to check this film out. Matter of fact, I have a clip. From where me and my good buddy, who's going to be here with me next month, Don Snipes. We've done a couple of films together, a couple things together. But me and Don, we did this scene, and it was really good. It was real fun, and we got into it a little bit. But I want to show you this clip from Broken Bonds with myself and Don Snipes, and y'all just tell me what you think.
Are you fucking crazy? You lied to me about Chase. You had him set up and killed. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what? If you know what's good for you, you'll stay away from me and my family. Yeah, you thought my brother was an idiot, but he got everything on tape.
His wire.
So you found the money? Yeah. Way to go, detective. You're playing with fire, Victor. Guess what? I already been burned.
So let's look. Check out Broken Bonds. That again, that's myself and Don Snipes and Broken Bonds with an amazing cast. Don Snipes, myself, China, Robin Rose, Sierra, Angelique, and I think that's all of us. Yeah. Oh, and Marcus, don't mess up her name, Bella and Bella. We're all in this. So Bella Chadwick is her name. Y'all, so we're all in this. It's a really good film with a whole bunch of other actors. It was a really good cast that's in this, and it's really good. It's a think Training Day kind of meets Departed in 2026. So think that kind of vibe of it. But it's a lot of stories within the story. But it's a really good film. But I booked that role in that movie by using the stuff that's in my book. So check out my book. I want to give y'all this. This may be a little controversial, maybe not. We'll see. Some actors don't get nominated because they're not marketable yet. Hear what I'm saying? Not because they're not talented, but because the industry needs a brand, a look, a lane, and a story. You need to give them something. It's not that you're not talented, but can they market you? Can they go on your Facebook and Instagram? Because they do these things. They look at your social media and be like, ooh, is this somebody we can market? How are they carrying themselves? Well, Jake Paul, he's not an actor, but he's, entertainment. Jake Paul, he be crazy all the time. Well, that's Jake Paul's brand, though. You get what I'm saying? Jake Paul probably sitting at home right now with that check he just got from that fight that he scammed all of us to watch. But I know I might get in trouble. Who cares? We'll see. My views go up or down. But he's sitting at home right now counting his money. And Jake Paul don't act like that when the cameras ain't on. That's a brand. That's how he brands himself. If you branding yourself, if you're saying that I'm just like Viola Davis, and we go to your Facebook and it don't say nothing Viola Davis, it don't match the distinguished woman that she is. Oh no, we can't market that. We can't market that. So you got to be marketable. You got to have a look. Now, when I say a look, it doesn't mean you have to be the best looking person. You just have to have a look. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get into talk about who look like what, but y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Like, who looks amazing, and who don't look quite amazing, but you always seeing them in that thing. They always getting a role in this and that and the third. Know your look. Know your look. You know what I'm saying? Your lane. Know your lane. What kind of actor are you? And don't get it twisted. Your lane can change, but you need something to work with to get you started, to get you going. And you have to have a story. What's the story that you're telling? What are you saying? Not just the role that you're playing and the story within that role. What's the story that the talent is telling? What's that story? These are things that you got to think about. You don't just have to be good. You have to be sellable. They got to look at you and say, I can invest millions into this. And I'll get my return. They got to look at that and say that. You got to be sellable. That's why branding is important. Content, reels, and positioning matters more than actors want to admit. There are some people that's booking more roles because they get the business part of it. And you got to get the business part of it too. Every Golden Globe winner, I just want to give y'all that, but every Golden Globe winner was once a nobody reading sides in their bedrooms, wondering if, am I going to book this role? Am I worth it? Am I worth this whole career? Hear what I'm saying? Because I know with some of you right now that got auditions coming up, you got to hurry them do the self-tape and send it in, and you probably already in the first month of this year, you probably had a few auditions, and maybe you had some bookings and maybe you haven't. And you sitting in your room by yourself right now saying, am I worth it? Am I enough? And I'm going to tell you what I told this guy in my recent acting class, my pop-up class. And he said to me, and it was crazy. I didn't expect this question. In the room, it was about 10 of us in the room. And he said, am I crazy for thinking that I can make it? And that man made me he was younger than me, made me put my paper down, stop my whole class. I said, no, you are not. Because if you ain't going to believe in you, who going to believe in you? And I said, just with that statement alone, I said, I've been there, brother. I said, I've been there. I've been like, am I worth it? Am I going to make it? Am I making it now? Were they right? Because that's the questions we ask ourselves. Were they right? Should I stop doing this and go work at Ford? You know what I mean? Ford Motor Company. Are they right? Am I wasting my time? Am I right? You never gonna be on that level. Are they right? And I had to tell myself, no, they're wrong. You're right for believing in yourself. Just because they can't believe in themselves no more, whatever they thought was supposed to go right, or even if they just don't see who you are and what you were, the vision that God gave you. Maybe they don't see it. But I said, no. You are absolutely right. You're not crazy. And now you know what? But let me tell y'all what I didn't tell him. Maybe you are a little crazy because you got to be a little delusional to believe that you're going to go from your couch to the Golden Globes one day. You got to be a little bit delusional because it's delusional until you do it. That's Busta Rhymes said that. I can't take that. Busta Rhymes said it on an interview. He said, you're delusional until it works, right? I'm delusional. I'm delusional for being a kid. Let's just keep it real. A black kid who didn't necessarily grow up in Detroit. I grew up around Detroit, but I actually grew up in a suburb outside of Detroit. I grew up in Taylor, Michigan. You hear me? So I ain't even your regular Detroit guy. What's that? I ain't me, right? And then I'm a son of a pastor. I'm a PK, right? And then I'm growing up and I got all these insecurities, all these different things. Never really confident until I got out of high school, which is most people for the most part. And I knew I loved acting, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I told myself one day I'm going to be an actor. And then all I used to do was church plays. And I said, man, this ain't it. It's got to be more to this. Then I went from church plays to doing plays outside the church with not getting paid, by the way. A different grind when you ain't getting paid for. Everybody want to get paid now. But a different grind, wasn't getting paid. Then I found my way into some student films, which I wasn't getting paid for. I'm just helping them pass their class and get their degree. Then I moved into short films. And guess what? Finally, I wasn't getting paid. Doing short films and watching them put them on YouTube or Vimeo or you know what I'm saying, or however you say it, and stuff like that. And then I moved from short films till I ran into a person where I finally did my very first feature film. I got paid. Not much, but I got paid. And I was like, yeah, I could do this, but it's got to be more. And I moved from that to where I finally go and I'm on national TV after getting a couple movies under my belt that didn't really go nowhere outside of a movie premiere. And then finally I get a national role. And I said, this is it. But even before then, I found myself working with a student film. This is why you cannot just look down on small beginnings. I met this young lady by the name of Erica. And Erica introduced me to Brittany, and Brittany and Erica was going to France because Erica went every year. And they were doing a student film at Wayne State, Michigan. That movie was called Brothers. You can go watch it on YouTube right now. It's called Brothers. That film got me into the Cannes Film Festival in the short film corner, which led me to go to France and meet people like the comedian Godfrey, the actress Michelle Williams. Who else am I missing? Just countless people. Naomi Watts. I met these people and shook their hand and talked with them briefly, but I met them. And I was like, yo, Ryan Gosling, all these people coming back to my head now. Ryan Gosling was there. James Franco was there. All these people were there. And I said, this is it. Then I came back home and I finally booked this stuff. And I'm like, yo, I believed in myself. And so you mean to tell me that I'm going to stop believing in me just because people said what they said? Or I'm not where people think I should? No, because I'm telling you, I'm saying this for me, but I'm saying it for you. You're going to see Marcus Woods in the big lights, on the big screen, and in the name. But if I can do it, you can do it. So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. That young man wasn't crazy. He isn't crazy. He's a phenomenal actor. I'm not saying that because he took my acting class. I watched that boy work. He's a phenomenal actor. And I said, yeah, you keep believing in you. And I said, now you got a fan because now I believe in you. You know what I mean? And I ain't going to let you ever make you think you're not going to make it. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm not going to keep y'all. Y'all check out Broken Bonds on YouTube right now. It's a great film. I believe it's a great film. I'm getting a lot of people telling me that it's a great film. So check out Broken Bonds, and then get my book, How to Win the Room. Marcus Woods. And my mind is just going places right now. But How to Win the Room, and you could be a blessing to this podcast by Cash Apping Marco Woods 11 $ Marco Woods 11. Just hey, help me out, help me keep doing this and keep growing and keep getting better and keep getting stronger. I appreciate you all so much. And I'm gonna do this. I never do this, but I'm about to do this. I'm shouting out Nice Media. Nice Media has helped me brand myself in another way. Peaches and her husband, they work so well with people here. So if you want to start a podcast and you want to talk about whatever, come here. Even if it's about acting or filming, come here. It's going to be a great time. I promise you, they treat you like royalty and they get everything going real smooth for you. So check out Nice Media Studios for whatever you want to do. And y'all better, look, they got stuff in the works. Y'all better get in here, try to grandfather yourself. They got some stuff coming. They got some stuff coming. So please check them out. And y'all just please don't quit. Don't give up. That's that's my message for today. You want to go to Golden Globes. You want to go to the Oscars. You want your name in the big screen, on the big screen and all that stuff. You don't quit. Go from that self-tape to the spotlight. You can do it. Just keep pushing, keep going. I'm out the way. Y'all been great. And I want to see y'all get, is it next week? No, not next week. And it's not next week, but I want y'all to keep this. I'm going to remind y'all again. February 9th, it is next week, but February 9th, I will have Don Snipes on here with me, and that's going to be a good time. We're going to talk about acting. He was like me. We started with the play days. You know what I'm saying? So we get to talk about that. But on the 19th of this month of January, I'm going to have Darren Brown back on here to promote he's going to be talking and promoting his new movie, Who Hurt Me? So from what I saw from the trailer, it's one of those psychological thrillers. Like, it's crazy. So he gonna have that and a couple of cast members with him. So y'all, let's have a good time. It's gonna be a good time. So, but yeah, that's that. I just want to make sure I say who's coming on next. It's gonna have a good time. Comments. Oh yeah, comments. I'm sorry. I almost forgot about y'all. Peaches love y'all. I do too. Where are we at with them? Preacher. Thank you. Oh man, I can't run away from it. Practice is needed to be convincing. Yes, this is true, Pastor Abrams. When I'm feeling lazy, I just say, even Beyonce still has. Come on, get up. I dig it. Frank, I love the art. Yes, sir. My bro Don, he said, why and purpose. You got to know your why and the purpose. You have to. Let me see who else we got. My boy Juan. That was a great movie. Didn't see that ending coming. I know, man. I know. Y'all got to watch the movie, understand. Great scene. Thank you. Appreciate it, brother. I'm about to send you a message through Facebook. Hey, send them. Okay, all right. Yo, cool. Okay. Thank y'all so much, man. I thank y'all. I thank y'all for the comments. I thank y'all for watching. I enjoy y'all. Be back with me on next Monday. And we're going to have a good time. I promise y'all that. But in the great words of Denzel Washington, I'll see you at work.